What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Josh. We're gonna be working on the STI today. 2004 STI. She's like my pride and joy. Everything I've ever wanted. Today we're gonna be working on an IAG Comp Series air oil separator. Basically, the only difference between Comp Series and the Street Series is dumping to atmosphere. And I want to dump to atmosphere. So, yeah. That's the boy Austin. He's gonna do a little helping, probably mostly cameraman today. This is his bug eye. Pretty dope little wagon. Let's get to it. Alright, so first things first, we've gone ahead and removed the intercooler, as you can tell. If you don't know how to do that, I'm sure there's other videos on YouTube where you can find out how to do that. And then next, we're gonna be removing, if you can see, this bolt right here. So that bolt and that hole right there are going to be where the AOS mounts to the side. And then following that, there is a little PCV valve down in here that we are going to be taking out and deleting. So we ran into a little bit of confusion. Since this is a competition series, you have this little nipple here that a Street Series would have, like a 3/8 inch hose that would come off and hook to that. But since this is a competition series, they've supplied us with this plug. So we're just gonna remove that. Obviously, I've already loosened it. Try not to mess up your gasket for your throttle body there too much. So we're gonna take that off, just a see-through little nipple, and put this little plug in there, which I'm going to need an Allen key for. Let's see if I can at least get it started. I done did, because my fingers are magical. Okay, let's see. I had some Allen keys over here. Of course, there's just everything in the way. Okay, I'm gonna unplug this stuff. Set that down there. Bring these over yonder if I can. Son of a bitch. And get that out of my way. Stay. Where is it? There we are. Alright, so we got that nipple in. You'll see if you can get in there and see it. Or not the nipple, but the plug in there to plug up that hole. Ah, there it is. That guy right there. So now we're gonna throw the throttle body back on, and then just keep moving along. All right. You ready to put the can in?
I think so.
I think so. So we're gonna move this bolt, and then that hole is where it's gonna install, where the mounting bracket for the AOS is gonna go. Obviously, I've already loosened stuff. And then we're gonna use the supplied bolts to mount the SOB. All right, so right down in here, if you can see that kind of open hole, kind of dead center, that's our crankcase ventilation. And from that, we removed this, which is our crankcase ventilation, into our PCV valve, into where it dumps crankcase ventilation into the intake. We're gonna replace it with this just little Y pipe. And that's gonna go into there, and then this bottom hose that comes from the bottom of the AOS is our oil return, which is gonna go on there. And then this is our crankcase ventilation, which is gonna go into the AOS. All right, so we got our PCV valve deleted, or PCV assembly. That used to go here. Now we've got our oil return hooked into there, and our crank vent hooked into there. So next, we also ran our, this is just a vent to atmosphere, the hose that's going down past the transmission. We need to trim that later. Next, we're gonna run our two hoses off here, and they will be the vents from the cylinder heads. We'll be making that with this hose here. Should probably close that and set it aside. Those will come, so you have two vent hoses coming off the cylinder head here. You'll take the one more towards the front of the car off of both sides, and you'll run it back the most efficient way possible to those two ports there. Alright guys, we're gonna wrap this video up real quick. It's getting dark. We just barely finished the install. Still got some work to do to get the car like running, but the AOS is in. So these are our lines here that are going to our ventilation. So we've got this line coming around, coming down in here, and it's hooking in. I don't know if you can see that very well, but right down in there. Let's see if I can get you guys a view of that. Maybe. Maybe not though. There you go, there they are. Right there. So that one's gonna go into there. Then we've got this second hose down that's coming along the back side here. As you can see, it's right here, and it's coming into here. Probably not gonna be able to get you a view in this one, but it's the same front crank piece, or not crank, but it's going into the cylinder head. And then we've got our crankcase ventilation, which is the third one down, and it's just looping around, coming in here, and then going in through the where the PCV valve used to be, and into the crankcase. And then of course we hooked up our water. You're gonna go from this little expansion tank or reservoir, whatever it is, into the top of the AOS, out of the bottom of the AOS, into the top of the turbo right there. And that's where the water is gonna drain. And basically once you're all done with that, you're gonna throw your intercooler back on, of course, and then we are going to bleed the coolant system, or burp it, or whatever you want to call it, and we'll be good to go. And that wraps us up for tonight, guys.